What's up, guys? It's time for the second part of the reservation creation tutorial. So where we left off last time was right after creating the majority of information for the Janine Smith's reservation. And I promised you to discuss these buttons and these tabs. So let's do it. Let's start with the products option, which in the free version, it is actually locked. When you create something here and try to save, it will not allow you to do so. But since it's quite an important option, I will just explain it for future reference. So apart from having meals in the meals section, which I said is also locked in the free version, you can have products. So for example, you can have beverages, you can have housekeeping fees, some other services like wellness and spa, for example, and you can create a database of inventory of services in your property. And then you can pull these products from the database so that you don't have to remember the price. You can quickly add a service to the reservation. So, for example, I've created soda, and when I click it from the database, it already pulls me the price of €55. It's pretty luxurious soda, I must say. And what is great is that these products can later be used in the reports. So you can create a report that will show you how much you have earned from the given beverages within a given time frame, or how much have you earned from the housekeeping services or some spa services. And you can also limit your receptionists from creating products on their own. So soda without a capital letter and soda with a capital letter are two different sodas actually, right? So if you don't want to mess up your reports, you can just limit your receptionists and they won't be able to create these products. What they can do is they can only use the products that you have created in the database, okay? So let's leave this window. Now, the issue document section, the only thing, two things you should be interested here, at least in the free version, okay? Because everything is useful. If you everything you see here can be used to maximize your workflow, to maximize your efficiency, if you have a standard or pro version. In the free version, you have some limitations, okay? So the booking confirmation and the registration cards can be used in the free version. If you click the booking confirmation, so you want to send an email with booking confirmation to your guest, as you can see, the save as PDF option is locked, okay? And even if I write some email, it will not work. But what you can do actually to bypass it is that you can click the print option. And if you have the print to PDF option, you can do it like that, okay? You select the PDF option, you click print, and this will work. You can save this as PDF to your desktop, and then you can send it to your guest via regular email, okay? In the standard and pro versions, you can automate this process. These booking confirmations can be sent automatically, or you can send them from here. In the free version, you only have this one bypass, let's say, okay? Then we have the calculator, which what it does basically, it opens the Windows calculator, okay? If you want to perform some quick calculations and you don't have a calculator at your disposal on the front desk, you can do it here, okay? Just a small convenience for you. Then we have prices by days. So when you use rate plans, you can see if the given day costs less or costs more for your customer. As I explained before, Julia will teach you how to differentiate the price for every single day to maximize your revenue. Stay tuned for the course she will prepare. And when she prepares it, I'll probably pin it up here, okay, as I promised. Next, we have the delete reservation. We have already used this one, so if I click it, the receptionist should show you the reason for canceling the reservation. Okay, so there are some pre-populated options, or you can click other and you should write something more, okay? And when the reservation is canceled, remember, you can always check who canceled the reservation and why did he do that. And if you don't want this reservation to be canceled, you can actually restore it, okay? Then this is a great tool, especially in the standard and pro version, but it also can be used in free. So when you click it, you see the history of all actions performed for this particular reservation. So this is great if you have different users, as in standard or pro versions, because you can see who messed something up or who added a payment that is not listed anywhere and so on. So what you see here, it's initial state of the reservation. So my reservation had exactly these features listed. And then if something is highlighted in red, this means that this was changed. And these changes can be seen here. So for example, amount paid, of course, was 0. But when I added payment of 450 euros, this information was listed. And you know exactly when someone did that. And if you have standard or pro versions, you can also create the so-called shift reports, which will also boost your ability to control your receptionists, to control their work and their efficiency and honesty. Because what you will see in the shift report also is how much money they accepted during their shift and how much money should be accepted and so on. So this is a perfect way to find out any money leaks, if you know what I mean, and so on. Okay. So we have spoken about the history. Now, the documents section, as I mentioned before, you can create fiscal documents in KWHotel, bills, invoices, receipts, also some cash accepted, cash released documents can also be created here. But since this is not available in the free version, I will not discuss it. Okay, next we have the meals section. So as I said in the previous videos, the meals section is not available, but I'll repeat once again. You can, with the standard and pro versions, you can manage your canteens and restaurants directly from our program. And this allows you to more efficiently manage the communication between the different stations in the hotel and your front desk. And also if someone, for example, opens the account for your customer, for example, in the restaurant, this information can be quickly transferred to KWHotel, and when your customer finishes his stay, he can be charged directly at the front desk for everything he purchased. So this is a great time saver and also a big convenience for your customer. Okay, and this is one of the extensions that you can purchase for KWHotel Standard and Pro. Okay, so moving on, we have the Other tab. And here we have quite a few options we can utilize. So first of all, we have the source of reservation. If you want to know where your customers are coming from, where is your revenue coming from, this is the way to go. So if you have a synchronization with online booking portals, this will be also populated automatically. And you can also write it on your own. So for example, walk in. And when you save your reservation once, this option will be, let me do it. Why not? Let's save the walk-in. And let's open the reservation again. Oh, by the way, if you think I'm dressed differently in the 7th minute of the video and so on, that's because I had to shut down my recording yesterday and I had to start recording again. So sorry for that. And then coming back to the Other tab, we have the walk-in, and it will be also available to choose here. The same applies to reservation channels and reservation segments, but these two are more often used if you have solutions such as Yield Planet's Price Optimizer, which can be synchronized with KWHotel Standard and Pro services. So I won't be going into details here. The online reservation number, even if you don't have the synchronization with booking portals, you can still write the online reservation number of your, for example, booking.com customer, and you can search for this reservation using the online reservation number. So again, huge convenience, and I highly recommend you to use this option frequently. Next, key codes are used for synchronizations with hotel logs. So again, it's not usable in the free version. But if you want to automatically program the room card for your customer, it is possible with KWHotel extensions, okay? Then we have the option to attach an individual reservation to some group reservation. It is quite simple. I need to create a group reservation, so I'll do it very quickly. Group reservation in the free version, you can create up to 3 rooms that can be a part of the group reservation. If you want to have more of them, you need to have the standard or pro versions. So let's make a double group reservation. So what I'll do, I'll just make some company. I really don't have ideas right now, but it's not important what we have here. We save this group reservation. We get back to it by double clicking and editing the whole reservation. And now if I go to the other tab, no, not the other tab. I need to know the ID of this group reservation. Okay, just a slight mess up on my side. It happens, don't worry. So when I open the group reservation, I need to know this ID. So I know that the group reservation ID is 4. So I get back to Janine Smith. I go back to the other tab, and here I write 4, which is the ID of my group reservation, and I click Add. And as you can see, this reservation has been added to my group reservation, okay? And if I save my changes, these 3 will be combined together. I won't do that, it's just show on my side, so let's leave this company and let's go back to my Janine Smith. Okay, so coming back to other tab. If you have some documents that, for example, let's say ID scan, if you really want to, you can click here and you can load this document here. If you click and see the information that you need to specify where this information should be saved, you can go to Tools, Configuration, Other, and Page 2, and there is a path to saved files, okay? And if you specify it and go back here, you can actually load these documents. Due to GDPR requirements, I highly recommend you not to save any fragile data, any important data, personal data of your customers. So be careful what you save here, okay? Because everything lands on the hard drive, okay? So as you need to protect your hard drive as much as possible if you want to store any personal data here, okay? And this applies to anything, not only to KWHotel, okay? Then we have the currency. So if you want to use a different currency for the given reservation, so for example, usually it should be euro in my case, or in case of my tutorial, but I haven't saved it in the first video. If you don't want to have euro, you want to have dollars in this case, you can do it here. And what you do here is you write the exchange value. So if you are using euro for all reservations and you want to change it to dollars, you need to write the exchange rate between euro and dollars, okay? The pre-authorization is used for synchronizations with payment terminals. So if you want to minimize the number of mistakes of your front desk and you want to speed up the guest service greatly, you can connect a payment terminal, which is a device that you can use to accept the credit card payments. You connect it to your KWHotel, you put it on front desk, and your customer simply closes his card there, swipes his card, right? And the information is transferred directly to KWHotel. Because it often happens that the front desk officer can simply write a wrong amount, and this causes a huge problem because you have to cancel this, you need to create an invoice, corrective invoice, and so on. And also the customer is not really happy that there was any mistake, okay? So if you want to minimize the number of them and also speed up the guest service, this is the way to go. Again, this is not in the free version. You need to have the higher versions to unlock this option, but it's still possible. Then we can copy reservations to another term. So if you click this option, you have more options unlocked. So you can either copy these reservations to a different date, or if there's someone that visits you frequently on a very, very specific basis, you can actually write that, for example, for the next 7 weeks. For the next 7 weeks, please copy this reservation for me, and each reservation should be 7 days later, okay? So this is the way to go. And this is all when it comes to the other tab. Let's just quickly speak about the custom services and housekeeping calendar. Why quickly? Because all these options are available only in the standard and pro versions, but they are really great features. I want to talk to you about them very quickly. So the custom option allows you to create custom fields. And for custom fields, if you create them, these can be fields such as when is your customer interested in airport pickup, customer's gender. You can specify what type of customer group is it, for example, tourists, VIPs, and so on. So you can create as many custom fields as you want. If you think that you need more information about the reservation, need to gather something else, you can do it here. So for example, when you have the airport pickup request date, so you know when your driver should go and pick up the customer from the airport, you can actually create a report that will only show those customers who want the airport pickup and when, at what time they want this pickup request, okay? So this is a great way to also make your work more efficient and make the communication more efficient, okay? Then we have the services tab. So here you can, for example, use it to rent conference halls if you have them in your hotel, or any other services like that. So if you want to rent something for an hour basis, this is the way to go, okay? This is the difference between services tab and the products tab. Products are simply products, and services are some hour-based products, okay, that you rent for a specific amount of time, like a conference room, okay? And then we have the, where's my mouse cursor? Okay, and the housekeeping calendar. So this is again the way to communicate with your housekeeping staff. You can mark when the given reservation should, when the given rooms should be cleaned on. And also you can leave any notes like please change towels or please don't do that. And you can set when these rooms should be cleaned. And in KWHotel Standard and Pro versions, you have at least 5 different housekeeping reports, and each of them serves a different purpose. And they can all be automatically sent to your housekeeping staff to make your work even more automated and save you even more time. And the last but not least, it's not here, but we have it here. This is again not available in the free version, but this is the option to create even more reservation statuses. And these will coexist with the existing ones. But remember that these 9, let me show them, these 12 reservation statuses are the most important ones because all the payments, reports, and so on are based on them. But you can also have some extra reservation statuses that you feel are important for your front desk to work more efficiently. And that is all when it comes to the single reservation screen. You can also visit our help center to read even more about the reservation screen, about the reservation process. And in the next video, I will quickly show you the difference in the group reservation screen, which is very similar. It shares a lot of options with the individual reservation screen, but there are some additions and I want to discuss them very quickly. And when we do that, there will be the last lesson where we will discuss the dashboard, which is another way, another approach to accept arrivals, accept departures, to generally manage reservations. Okay, so I'll see you there, guys. We're close to the end, so let's do it.